How's that?
Start all over.
Is that pretty good? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. McCullough?
Here.
Mr. Everson?
Here.
Mr. Oliver Jenkins?
Present.
Mr. Corbin?
Here.
Mr. Webb?
Here.
Mr. Shine?
Present.
Mr. Sandhagen?
Present.
Okay, tomorrow, Jeff, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the administrative conference on Monday, April 7th, city council meeting Tuesday, April 8th.
I would be
Please.
happy to provide one.
And amendment number 1 for council proceedings April the 8th. All right, Mr. Mayor, awards, recognition of distinguished guests, and communications from the mayor, which is required by law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. As usual, we welcome all those who are here physically in attendance today, as well as those who are joining us electronically by Ustream. Since this is our council work session, we appreciate them becoming a part of the democratic process here locally. I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a belated Easter and happy Passover. I hope that all had a chance to be able to go out and engage the worship experience of their choice and spend time with their families, their friends, and their loved ones, and also want to be able to express great appreciation on all the wonderful things that are happening and taking place throughout the area this time of year. In particular, there was a great gathering of people all around the city starting today over at the Shreveport Convention Center for the kickoff of the annual Art Break celebration. There were buses that were there even now as we speak. That particular effort will have its culmination this coming Sunday with the big awards celebration. So we're looking forward to having lots of folks to come out and have a chance to be able to be a part of that. Also, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, you all may have heard, and we certainly would extend the invitation to them to come and communicate on their oral communications, or the council may choose to extend an invitation directly themselves. You all may be aware of the fact that we have a crisis right now regarding our domestic violence sheltering situation. I was informed, I believe it would be 2 weeks ago today, via an early Monday morning telephone conversation with Simone Hiddison, the executive director of the Providence House, that it was their intentions to cease providing those services going forward into the next fiscal year, and in fact that they intended to cease providing those services prior to the conclusion of what I and I think some others understood the contract that they're currently under, which would have had them ceasing the provision of domestic violence sheltering services altogether on the 25th of May, and they would have stopped accepting the admission of new folks in need of sheltering on the 30th of April. That was a situation that obviously brought a great deal of alarm to yours truly. It took me directly back to a set of circumstances that Mr. Webb and Mr. Shine may be familiar with, because they were on council back in 2009 on the first term of this administration, when we had a meltdown of sorts at the YWCA, which had for a very long period of time provided those services, and essentially they announced after the city's refusal to provide them with $500,000, announced that they would be ceasing operations and that it could occur essentially at any given moment in an effort to ensure that we did not end up with any loss of services. Dale Sibley, and at that time Tom Dark, who was still on staff, and the rest of the folks who were part of the administration and city government, we reached out and worked with a series of folks from law enforcement and what have you to come up with a protocol in the event that the YWCA did end up with an imminent shutdown. Thankfully, the folks from the Providence House stepped in and have for the past 5 years provided those services. It is with great regret that they will not continue to do so. The biggest challenge that we have right now is the time frame in which they have indicated that they will cease providing those services. You could conceivably find ourselves in a situation where the largest city in the northern part of the state would be without a domestic violence shelter. The closest facilities would be Ruston or Manning, Louisiana, both of which are facilities that have a maximum population of 10 people. The current shelter has bed space for 115. As of last week, there were 12 families and 3 single folks there with a total population of 44. And as we were informed by Simone Hennessy and her staff, that actually represents a low census, especially within the context of the season, because as we go into the warmer months, the incidents of domestic violence have a tendency to increase and the actual number of folks needing to be sheltered increase. And so essentially what we have communicated to them from the administration is that while we appreciate and respect the fact that they need to set this mission down and turn it over to someone else, we need a more seamless transition process to take place. And so what we have done is requested for them, as I have termed it and referenced it, to be like the little Dutch boy who has his finger stuck in the levee. That may be duties and responsibilities that they might not want to continue to uphold, but for the good and the safety of all, we need them to stay in that posture and in that position until we can make an effective transition, and that there does not need to be any point in time when we announce to folks who are in need of these services that we're no longer accepting new people, and we do not announce to those who are currently sheltered that there is a point in time when we will be turning them out. And so thankfully, Paula Hickman at the Community Foundation has stepped up and offered her leadership in this matter. She convened on last week a gathering that included the mayor's offices from both Shreveport and Bossier, representatives of the parishes of Bossier and Caddo, as well as representatives from the various DA's offices, the police departments, the sheriff's departments, as well as folks who are part of the court system, Judge Matlock in particular. And we're working on essentially how it is that we manage to be able to work with the folks at the Providence House to keep them in place, providing these services until we can work with all the other parties involved at the state level, as well as what's called the Louisiana Domestic Violence Coalition. That is an entity that is designated by the federal government to be the coordinating entity for the state of Louisiana to ultimately stand up and transition to a new provider. But the one thing, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, that we all should be aware of and highly concerned about is that while the city of Shreveport has achieved historically low homicide numbers over the last 3 years, the 3 of the 4 lowest years ever recorded, we here in the state of Louisiana collectively still lead the nation in the rate of per capita homicides related to domestic violence. And the idea of losing a domestic violence shelter within the context of a state that has that level of violence is something that we should consider absolutely unnecessary. In fact, our latest homicide took place on that very day that I had that telephone call with Simone Hennessy. And it was an individual who was a well-known, long-time serial abuser who had beaten and assaulted many women. And 2 weeks ago today, he finally killed one. And so, without question, these are the types of services that we need to not only have, we need to have them in a way and a manner that allows us to be able to ensure that those who need safety have it, and that we also try and position ourselves to try and interrupt that cycle of violence so we can ultimately end up preventing more families from being hurt and harmed and ultimately folks from being killed. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I turn it back over to you and turn it back over to the council.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Sam Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I want to invite up Mr. David Jackson. Mr. Jackson is with the American Traffic Solution. He's going to do a presentation here today. I think it's something that some of us saw when we were at the last intergovernmental meeting. It's a proposal where there will be some cooperation between the school board, the council, and the parish commission, where we'll be talking about the placement of some external cameras on our school buses, hopefully to catch those persons who violate failing to yield or to stop for the school buses when the students are getting on the bus or getting off the bus. And he'll give a little bit more explanation of that, but I do think this is a great idea that we need to explore, both for the safety of our children as well as the fact that it may be a fee generator to some extent for the city of Shreveport. So I'll ask Mr. Jackson, Mr. Chairman, with your permission to come up at this stage and just introduce himself for the record, and if you would, allow him to do his presentation.
Chief. Wait, Mr. You might need to have, do you have anybody in here who could hear this report about traffic safety?
To hear a report about traffic safety?
From this gentleman right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was Captain Pierce.
What about?
Listen. Captain Pierce.
Oh, Captain, okay. Captain, can you hear him from back there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have y'all met one another?
No, we haven't.
David Jackson.
We'll duly be listening.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I want to take just a few minutes and share with you a program. It's a program that's already being used around the state, and it's a program for student safety when they're getting on and off a school bus as they go to school. And several of you may have seen it at the intergovernmental meeting, but I'll walk you through it. I talk fast, so please stop me if you have any questions. But this is a three-way partnership that would be with the school district, the vendor, and with the city. And I have been in contact with the school district. I presented to their transportation safety committee last month. And so far, the feedback's been very positive. But of course, it takes all three, both the city and the school district, to participate. So I'll walk you through and show you. This is what the bus driver sees. On average around the country of 0.7 times per day per bus. And as you can see, the bus is going down the road. The warning lights are on, now the brake lights are on. And as the stop arm is out, the cars are just driving by. And again, this happens very frequently. And generally it's just carelessness on the driver's part. But in defining the problem, as you probably know, a child was killed getting on the bus in Orleans Parish a month before last. A child was hit in East Baton Rouge Parish last week. It's something that keeps happening over and over. And what I'll share with you isn't a cure-all, but it's certainly a tool that will help change driver behavior. And the objective of the program, again, is safety of the students when they're getting on and off the school bus. And the program I'll show you is a turnkey program. As you'll see here, the vendor takes on most of the workload. The school district takes on the responsibility for providing the buses, of course, and the camera systems. And the role of the city would be in the enforcement side.
Thank you.
So what happens is, as a vehicle passes a school bus while the kids are getting on and off, it will actually capture a picture and a 6-second video of that violation. As soon as that bus hits cellular coverage, it's going to send that information back to ATS. We have a processing center that will actually clean that up and forward it over to the police department if it looks like it's a violation to us. The vendor doesn't have a role in the enforcement, neither does the school district. A police officer would then receive this at their desk, a 6-second video of the violation, a GPS of where it occurred, and registered owner information of the vehicle. And that police officer would look at that, just like he would if he were on the side of the road, and then he would make the decision if a citation was warranted. And he would either say reject it and it would go away, or accept. And if he said that a violation is deserved, a violation would then be mailed to the registered owner of the vehicle. And on that violation, you would see a GPS of where the incident occurred, a picture of before the car passed with the stop arm out, and a picture of the car passing the stop arm. So everything is captured there, and there's even a PIN number and a violation number where if the violator wanted more information, he could actually go online and watch a video clip of himself running around the school bus while the stop arm was out. So, and I guess while he was feeling guilty, he could even pay that citation right there online. But It's very did or didn't. If they look at the violation, you know pretty quickly if they ran around while kids were getting on and off. The neat thing is we have about 22 of these programs out, and we know now that they work. Recidivism rate is less than 1% of people who get citations don't get a second one. We'll see results here in just a second. But the first place we implemented was Cobb County, Georgia, which is suburban Atlanta. They had a girl killed getting on the bus, and they very aggressively implemented a public awareness campaign, much more so than a citation campaign. With this tool, they were actually, in the first year, able to drop the violation rates by over 40%. And again, this is with a very aggressive public awareness campaign, to the point when they found dangerous stops, they would actually drag one of those portable message signs out and say, hey, dangerous stop ahead, please watch for the kids. We even gone to the point now, we provided a mascot to this district that goes to the assemblies and bounces on trampoline, dunks a basketball, and talks to the kids about running in front of the bus. Again, much more public awareness than writing citations, but it certainly gave them a platform to kick that off. But it's encouraging to see right next door, Marietta, Georgia, next town over, 50% reduction. So the driver behavior changes very quickly. And where you'll see most of these violations, it's outside of multi-apartment complexes, mobile home parks, place where the stops are very long and the public just gets impatient, so that they're just going to pass it. So those are the places where we think we can really make a difference. I didn't want today at all to be about American Traffic Solutions. I wanted it to be informational and short. But certainly we are familiar with this type of program. We do school zone speed enforcement in New Orleans. Throughout the country, we have over 300 clients that use different types of photo enforcement. And bus photo enforcement is certainly the most active right now. And I'll get to the end of this shortly, but I want to kind of emphasize where I think if the city does decide to work with the school district and then implement a program like this, there's a couple of steps that are important. We don't certainly want to sneak up on anybody. We want to get very aggressive. When we've kicked off a program just the week before last in suburban Austin, we had a press conference where the superintendent spoke, the police chief spoke, transportation, explained the program, explained what's going on. We filmed a public safety announcement that goes to the local media, that goes into the websites for both the city and the school district. Again, everywhere we can touch a potential driver is what's important. Superintendent sends a letter home with every kid. It's a very quick way to touch 40 or 50,000 drivers very quickly. Even to the point now, it seems kind of corny sometimes, but we're even doing placemats for the local restaurants. People sit down and wait to eat. They see the law. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're enforcing it. You know, stop for the kids. Again, everywhere we can touch. Even the social media. People like me still watch the 10 o'clock news, but that generation behind me get as much of their news from the social media and the Twitters and the Facebook than they do. So we have a staff that actually performs that for the city, for the school district. And again, it has to be a joint program for it to work. The implementation process, if the city decided this was a program that they wanted to move forward with, there's several things that have to happen. Certainly a vendor would have to be engaged, hopefully that'd be ATS, but and then an intergovernmental agreement or memorandum of understanding would need to be approved with the school district. And then the first step of implementation would we'd start the public awareness campaign 30 days prior to installation. We would begin analyzing the routes for the dangerous stops where they have the multifamily housing and things like that. And then generally about 30 days later, enforcement would start. And then I'll wrap up with just one other tool that's gaining a lot of popularity around the country is dedicated school zone speed enforcement. And you'll see little carts that can be dragged out by the crossing guards each day. Usually there's a 10-mile-an-hour cushion afforded in those school districts. But as cars, if you have a 20-mile-per-hour school zone, if a car is going 30 or 35, they would get a ticket in the mail sent to the registered owner for that violation. They seem very popular when they're isolated just to school districts. And again, with a very generous cushion. It's gotten popular to the point, the first place I put this in was Montgomery, Alabama. And it was so popular that the police department had to put in a voicemail box for all the neighborhood groups with complaints about speeding, and they would take the vehicle from different school zone to different school zone or neighborhood environments like that. So also for your consideration, certainly the school zone speed enforcement is viable. And all the programs I've shown you today are violator funded. And that means there's no capital outlay for the city or for the school district. ATS certainly takes that financial risk, and we would work with the school district or the city on some sort of a revenue split. And I promised Mr. Jenkins I would keep it very short today, so I want to stand by my word, but certainly answer any questions you have.
Let me, before Sam, Councilman Oliver Jenkins is chairman of our Public Safety Committee, and I would hope that you and Sam would work with Councilman Oliver Jenkins about this program, and Oliver, I know you will include our city attorney, because this is going to have to do with legality, and our police chief, because the police will be involved in this. So I'm going to turn it back over to the Honorable Samuel Jenkins.
Mr. Chairman, you're right on point. I was going to suggest, at the appropriate time, that our Public Safety Committee take a look at this process. What is the status with the school board at this time? I know you had a meeting with their committees over there. What is the feedback you're getting from them?
It was very positive. Certainly they would not move forward until the city gave some positive feedback to them as well.
So I don't know exactly the timing on all of this, but it seems like there needs to be some interaction with the school board at this stage, so everybody can kind of, I guess, stay on the same page as to the way that they proceed. But I certainly feel like our Public Safety Committee would be the appropriate place for this venture to go, so someone can kind of take a look at it, see how we can implement it. I think it's a great idea. Anytime we can get involved with the safety of our children, going back and forth to school. You named some places, but I tell you, Jewel Avenue is a place I see that those violations happen all the time. You would just drive past the school bus. Simply because the school bus is in the southbound lanes, that doesn't give the northbound lanes the right to proceed past that stop sign. And I think a lot of people just think maybe if you're behind the bus, you stop. But if you're approaching the bus in the other lane, you have a green light to keep going. So I do know that the public needs to be educated on it. Secondly, as you said, I think it's a great idea that we become involved in it also, not at the expense of the city, so to speak, where we're actually putting money out to do it, but it's funded by the persons who are violators. But thirdly, and more importantly, if we can just get over to our citizens the need to obey the signals that are coming from the school bus, that's going to save a lot of lives and hopefully save a lot of people a lot of money if they're not caught violating what the rules may be. So I'm hoping that that communication can take place that you're suggesting, Mr. Chairman, so we can remain involved in this, because the school board cannot enforce. They can certainly get the ball rolling, but when it comes to enforcing laws here in the city, we got to depend upon the city and understand the parish is going to get involved in the sheriff's office for the outlying areas in the parish. So I want to thank Mr. Jackson for coming down today. I don't know if some others may have some questions or
I
comments.
believe Councilman.
I appreciate your presence here today.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate your presentation. And Councilman Jenkins, I was going to ask about the parish, because I thought if this is something that moved forward, certainly they need to be involved. Your camera systems on the buses, just looking at what's in the handout and what was in your presentation, they take photographs of the car as it's approaching the bus and then as it's pulling away from the bus. How does that work?
The pictures are from behind, generally. We don't take driver pictures. We take the rear license plate. And oncoming, it's a downward picture. So we want to be very careful not to take photographs of the driver or passengers of the car.
All right, any more questions? Mr. Jackson, if not, it has been an honor.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
All right. Okay, any more communications from any council members? If not, Mr. Mayor, we're kind of back with you with, or did you include?
All
city
of mine
business?
were combined, Mr. Sean.
That's pretty. Ms. Farnell, please. Look like we're going to have somebody back there, Mr. Shipley, to help her get up. I don't know whether she played softball over the weekend or what.
Still spry.
All right, well, Ms. Farnell, I have one for you. 4218 Henry Street.
Henry?
Yeah, Henry. And I want to give you some others, but I don't have. We have school kids who walk by that lot, and its grass is, I'm told, extremely high. On Bethune Street, and all this is in Hollywood Heights, where the kids be walking to school. I don't know any specific addresses, but have your fellow or lady, whoever it is, that ride that area, to ride Bethune, and I think it's about 4 lots that the school kids walk by, and we want to get them cut. I don't really know the addresses,
Yes, sir.
but if you got somebody who ride that area, they would, because this is what they do every day. And Mr. Sibley, I don't see Mr. Harris. I think he's out. We got a lot on the corner of Cleveland and Broadway that needs to be cut. We have some school kids up there. We want to at least make it pretty good for school kids. And I heard on the lots of Cleveland and Broadway that because I don't think the snake would have bit anybody, but then again, you don't know.
We'll check that, Mr. Sean.
Because school kids can run.
We'll check that.
I know I would run if I see a snake.
Mr. Sean, also, while, if we may, one of the things I asked Ms. Farnell to do is update the council. We just let the contracts for the grass cutting season.
Oh,
Just kind of update you guys on what's coming in terms of grass cutting
Good,
for this season.
good. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to be too far out front sometimes. I should have waited. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Just wanted you all to know that we have officially started grass season. On April the 1st, we completed our equipment inspections for our contractors, and that inspection led to us having 21 contractors for this year who will cut grass along with our grass crew. Today, we gave out 70 projects, which totals 1,650 grass lots that are being issued today. That's all over the city, both private and adjudicated. And what will happen is that as we move forward, a lot of these lots, some of the areas will be cut from at least 5 to 6 times during the year. Last year, 2012, we cut 11,136 lots. Those lots were cut approximately 5 times last year. So for any of the citizens who are requesting, we have written them up. We do have those, so those contracts, the rest of this week, they will be given out. The contractors, when they receive those lots, they have 5 days to abate them. And if they have cut them according to specs, then they will receive another batch. Otherwise, we will have to wait until we make sure our evaluations are done. But just to let you know that we are in business now for grass cutting.
Thank you. I was just hunched by Mike, and he asked me if I saw your new glasses. Dale, you got to get you a pair like that. If you can afford them, because I know they're expensive, Dale. I know they're expensive. Okay, any more questions for Ms. Farnell?
I have something.
All right.
Ms. Farnell, I've spoken with administration, particularly Dale Sibley and Fred, what's his last name, Williams, with solid waste regarding this issue. I have a complaint that came from 4025 Gulf Link, Gulf Link Street, off of Curtis Lane. And the complaint is located at Briarwood Apartments. The complaint is that the blue containers are being emptied, and yet the green ones haven't been emptied since Christmas. As I understood from Mr. Sibley as well as Mr. Williams, this is a private matter that possibly I need to get with you, property standards, to maybe consider a citation, because if you have garbage that haven't been picked up since Christmas, 4 bins is that's what she explained. Is it possible that we could get somebody out to look at this as soon as possible?
Yes, ma'am, we certainly
You
will.
know about where I'm talking about?
I know exactly where you're talking about, and yes, we'll get someone out
Just
there that
before you get to
inspects.
Curtis Lane.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have a phone number here as well if you want a contact person. I don't have her name, but I have her phone number. It's 990-7430. She's called several times. And I've called Dale several times, but I had an opportunity to actually talk with Fred today at our solid waste committee meeting. And so again, they referred me to you to possibly look into going outside and, you know.
We will do that. Yes, ma'am.
Also, I wanted to ask you if we were able to look at Cherokee Park right across from the school. Were we able to cut over there at all? I don't have the street name, but it's the same
I know
street
where
that
you're
Cherokee
talking
Park,
about. I
Elementary.
don't have the information. I know my inspector, Mr. Green, did go over there. Let me get back with you on that. Ms.
Okay.
McCullen will do that.
The
Yes,
street
ma'am.
that the school actually sits on. Okay, and other than that, that's pretty much all that I have. And maybe you could let me know what you found out
Yes, ma'am.
off of Curtis Lane
Yes, ma'am.
tomorrow, at tomorrow's
Yes, ma'am.
meeting.
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? If not, I hope you all don't mind. I want to take executive privilege just for, I guess, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, because we only have one person that want to speak, and we can let him go back to work. Is this Mr. Ron Nathan? I don't know whether this is an N or an H.
Eight.
That's an H.
I'm not going back to work.
Okay, well, why don't you come on up? We're gonna give you a chance. I didn't know. Why don't you come on up and okay. I really didn't know. Sometimes we have people who come down and they need to get back to work.
Well, if I did, I'd be going back to weed eating at the house, so,
Oh, okay, well,
since we're talking about
that's right.
grass
You might not wanna
cleanup.
do that. That's right. You wanna give us your name and your address and
Yes, sir.
go from there.
My name is Ron Hathorn.
Okay.
The address that I'm gonna quote you is 2260 East Burt Coontz, Shreveport, Louisiana. I think the zip code is 711 something.
Right.
I stand before you privileged in that I'm probably the only person in the city that has 2 city council people.
There must be these 2 gentlemen right here.
Right.
We're
Out
still
my-
debating which
Yeah, you are, you
district
do.
it's in, because I'm still not really sure.
Out the front door, I have Councilman Oliver Jenkins. Out the side, 2 side doors, I have Councilman Michael Corman. Out the back door, I have Joe Shine.
You're very fortunate.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Since I have 2 councilmen, I think, should I get 6 minutes or just only get 3?
Well,
I'm sorry.
We'll give you 6.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Joe. I'm here, as maybe some of you do not know, I'm on the holiday stores on East Burt Coontz, and we engage in selling fireworks. and I'm here concerning the ordinance change justifiably brought forth by Oliver Jenkins. We have spoken, along with Mr. Corbin, we have both spoken. I guess I'm here to ask you first, is there any way that we could table it, push it off, so that maybe Oliver Jenkins and I and Michael Corbin and I can get together and maybe come up with something a little more amicable for not only my business, but for the sake of those that want to celebrate patriotism and for those that want to celebrate birthday, like on July 4th, that we can work together in a more business patron solution. Basically, that's what I have. Mr. Jenkins, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions. I mean, you and I had a conversation. I certainly, and we can certainly entertain a postponement tomorrow. And I don't think we're in any huge rush to get this done this week. So that'd be, I'm certainly inclined to postpone or propose extending it next week, tomorrow, unless I hear something from the other council that
Yes,
decides
sir.
other. But I don't have any burning issue on why it has to be this week.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to ask, so, and I thank you for that opportunity, both of my councilmen.
Well, I can tell you one other thing you could ask Oliver is to maybe take you out to lunch.
I think I could, me take him, you talking both of them?
No, you want,
Either
I
one?
want him to take you. I'll just-
Maybe I'd be happy to take, I mean, if that's what I need to postpone, what am I trying?
Here we go.
What do I need to do? I thought I'd postpone it for him.
Okay.
I postpone it for you too.
No.
I want you to know, council, that the ordinances and the laws that are presently in place are basically the same as the state. I want you to know that I wrote 90% of those. I've been in the business 40 years, along with Bella, all the way up to Brown. We have formulated plans of which we came up with ordinances that are enforceable. A lot of ordinances that were on the books 20, 30 years ago were not enforceable. Chasing rabbits. So hopefully that credential might help the council understand that we want them to work to something that will help the bang complaint and maybe work together on a situation that's more amicable for all of us. So, Chairman.
All right, well, Ron, we appreciate you coming down unless you have some more comments from these two fine gentlemen.
I have one, and I'll just kind of summarize where I am on the issue. I do think there is obviously some validity from a business owner that's saying, and obviously we're not affecting the sale dates, right? We're clear on that now that we aren't, the proposal does not affect the dates at which you sell, it's just when you can expend them.
That's correct.
Okay, because there's a little, maybe some confusion, maybe not by you at some point, but let's just say there was confusion out there of what we are affecting change, proposing.
That's correct.
Okay, and I will say this, I'm not sure that the volume of business is likely to be affected greatly, but we don't have any data to support that, neither you nor I. We know the sales dates, I'm sure you could provide that pretty clearly on what your different sales dates work in both, but we're not really sure about
How it would affect.
how well it would affect. And so that's kind of one of the things that he and I will hopefully discuss on how we can either test it a certain way and see what the metric is that adjusts it, or what have you. So those are kind of, and if anybody else on the council has any ideas, because it's certainly not supposed to be anti-business legislation. That's not the intent of it. More peace of mind for those that complain about it. So, So that's, I'm open for anything but postponing it 2 weeks so that you and I have the opportunity to speak. And we did speak Friday afternoon, I believe, on the phone or something, or Thursday afternoon, right before the holiday.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of where we are.
And just to let you know, just when Corbin and I spoke about the same issue, but I really didn't know who my councilman was, but he was very cordial also at taking what I had to say, and I thank you for the opportunity very, very, very much. I think it was 17 years ago, came into the city, bought an acre of land, didn't ask the city for any tax relief, anything. Bailed out there, the only person I had was MBNL, Minnesota Loan Bank, said, yeah, we'll try it. Fireworks? Yes. So we thank you for not being anti-business and willing to listen.
I do want you to know that Mike is a Methodist, so that means that he's very compassionate.
He hadn't been dunked yet. I'm a preacher's kid, Joe Shine,
Okay.
a Baptist preacher's kid.
All right.
And I got dunked several times. It wasn't for baptism, I don't think.
All right.
Excuse me.
Mike, you might have to get dunked then. And I believe you got two sitting over there who hadn't been dunked yet.
I don't think it matters, does it?
They've been sprinkled, but they hadn't been dunked yet.
No, I'm an exception to most rules, Mr. Shine, and this one as well.
What? You've been dunked?
I'm a Methodist who was dunked. I was baptized in Caddo Lake, 1974.
Amen.
Wow.
Were you?
Yes, I was.
Wow.
And I'm a Methodist who was a Baptist, so I was dunked early on.
I didn't know this was going to turn out to be a confession, Joe.
Yeah, I
Brother
take it all
Shine.
back, yeah. I take it all back today. All right.
We good, aren't we?
We are.
Thank you,
All
Lord.
right. Thank you for coming down.
Y'all have a good day.
All right. Let's move on.
Chose to be dunked
Mr.
first.
Mayor Yoder.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Tomorrow, right?
On public hearings, yes, sir. We will be prepared tomorrow.
Okay. Let me see. Miss Sanders. Where's Miss Sanders? Tomorrow. Miss Sanders? You got a few things you want to say today and maybe something important tomorrow?
Sure. I have just one brief update. The Food Systems Master Plan that was discussed during my last report to you, produced by LSU Ag Center and local volunteers, was forwarded by the Master Plan Committee to the Metropolitan Planning Commission for consideration for adoption. So you may actually have that presentation formally submitted to you.
Okay, Jeffy and Rose, I want to give y'all the first shots. Y'all have anything? It's okay.
Yeah, we just got it, but it looks like they did a good job taking our criticisms and factoring them into this new report. So I look forward to reviewing it further.
Okay, Rose, you got a little sugar you want to put on
I
that?
should look at the presentation, and so, I'm just waiting to hear back from the MPC to see what they have to say. As I understand, you also met with the Executive Committee for Neighborhood Council of Neighborhoods.
Yes, ma'am.
Meeting this week.
Yes, they are reviewing an application for neighborhood and business associations to fill out to become official members of the Shreveport Council of Neighborhood Organizations. We're hoping that that will be released to all of the neighborhood and business associations within a matter of weeks so that we can get that group up and running citywide.
And so each representative from each association is going to be responsible for getting that application to each individual association. That's
Yes,
how that's-
ma'am. Yes, and they will have a great deal of assistance from many people in getting that application filled out.
Anybody else have any? I guess evidently they don't. Miss Sanders.
Thank you,
for
sir.
coming. Mr. Thompson, public hearings tomorrow?
We do have a public hearing tomorrow, and I believe that Mr. Sibley said that they would have a presentation.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sibley. I appreciate how you get your cues from Mr. Thompson over there.
Wise man.
There you go, very wise man.
Mr. Shine,
Yes.
you know, also, in addition to Dara's report, you along with myself and Jeff, we were actually able to sit in on the interview for the new executive director this past week, and I found it to be quite interesting. Very good interviews, as a matter of fact. So, you were here, Councilman Shine. You got up and you gave your little remarks as well. I think they're going to make the best decision in the best interest of the citizens of the city of Shreveport.
I understand we're 47 applicants.
Okay.
47 applicants.
Wow.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, no.
Shannon, we have at least one item to be added to the agenda. Is that where we are?
Okay. We are there.
Okay. It's a resolution supporting and encouraging the adoption of House Bill 1097 of the 2014 regular session of the legislature. If it's not already on your e-agenda, it should be there in a little while. You probably have to refresh to get it. We also will probably plan to have 2 or 3 other items to introduce tomorrow. They concerned ordinance number 34, which was a zoning appeal, which was adopted at the last council meeting. And the council was given the wrong description for the lot, and so we'll need to rescind that one. And then we will need to probably add 2 others. One to zone the second lot, R1D, I believe it is, from B1. And the other is to give the council the opportunity to zone the first part of the lot, B3, or to leave it as it is. So the MPC is working on those now, and we'll get with Ms. Glass and hopefully have those finished so they can be introduced tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll be ready for that.
And Art, as you explained it to me earlier, you know, I expressed that I was going to uphold the decision of the MPC. Based on all of the changes that are going to be made, I would still take the position to uphold the decision of the MPC.
Right. There are 2 decisions.
The car lot.
There are 2 decisions to be made. They wanted to divide this large lot on North Market into 2 lots. Lot number 2 is where the residence sits, and they wanted to zone that from B1 to R1D, and the MPC agreed with that. So I would think that the council probably would want to go along with that. It is taking it from a higher zoning to a lower zoning, from B1 to R1D. On the front lot, they wanted to sell cars and wanted to go from B1 to B3. The MPC disagreed with that.
Right.
So you would probably ask the council to vote no when it comes up. It cannot come up tomorrow. It has to live for 2 meetings. But we intend to ask you to introduce it tomorrow so that it can be voted on in 2 weeks. And I've notified all of the people who appeared at the hearing and the applicant, and they will be here in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Let me see now. What you're saying is that
Same thing I was about to ask you.
No more, it is very, very confusing.
He said
You want
2
to
or
sell
3
cars in front of
things.
your house?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said 2 or 3 things, but Art is good at doing that. You, Councilman McCullough, you want to overturn the decision that was made by the MPC and to let...
In order to make the necessary changes.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And then we'll have to lay over 2 weeks, right, Art?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, we just want to make sure that we make this clear. All right.
Sam looked confused. Why are you looking like that, Sam? You probably need to look
You
that
want
way.
to see
I
I probably need to look at it.
so that,
I'll look at it.
we'll look at it once he, pull it together. Okay.
All right, Mr. Sibley.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have no confirmation on appointments going to
Right.
consent agenda legislation. There are no items for introduction or adoption. Under Section 9, regular agenda legislation, resolutions on second reading and final passage, or which will require only one reading. Resolution 70 states the City of Shreveport's endorsement of Petroleum Building LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program. This matter is not to be adopted prior to May 13, 2014, and there is a public hearing scheduled May 13, 2014.
Sibley, I believe you missed 75.
I think maybe
I'm
he's
sorry.
coming back to that. That's okay. That's
that
okay.
on
I didn't mind you going to 70 because I knew you would come back to 75.
Oh, it's listed as 70 on,
No, let's see.
Mine it's at 70, but.
I understand that it's, number 75 is listed later on in the agenda, so you'll get to it.
okay.
It's listed early in my agenda.
The one I just read, I have its number 70, is that?
That's correct.
Okay. Proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Resolution 71 authorizes the institution of expropriation proceedings against certain described property within the city of Shreveport in connection with the Murphy Street Park Project, parcel number P6.
Did you, Mr. Jenkins, did you want Michelle Arrego to come up and say something about that, or you?
I think Malcolm came up at the last meeting and gave an
Oh, he did?
explanation as to what
Yes,
this
sir.
was about.
Okay.
Unless someone else have a question, I certainly support it. And we ask for you all support of this on tomorrow.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sibley? Yes, sir.
Resolution 72 authorizes the city of Shreveport to proceed with the remarketing of the remaining principal balance of $48,855,000 Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority revenue bonds, Shreveport Utility System Project Series 2005 with Capital One Public Funding LLC, making such modifications and/or amendments to the bond documents as are required to effectuate such remarketing, making any necessary notification to the Louisiana State Bond Commission for approval of related fees, and providing for other matters with respect thereto.
Any comments, questions? If not, Mr. Sibley, proceed.
Resolution 73 authorizes the city of Shreveport to proceed with the remarketing of the remaining principal balance of $39,085,000 Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority revenue refunding bonds, Shreveport Convention Center Hotel Project, Series 2008 with Regions Capital Advantage Incorporated, making such modifications and/or amendments to the bond documents as are required to effectuate such remarketing, making any necessary notification to the Louisiana State Bond Commission for approval of related fees, and providing for other matters with respect thereto.
Any questions or comments? If not,
Chairman, before you go on, we do have both Mr. Bill Bowles and Miss Jackie Scott who are here,
I'm sorry, we sure do. Why don't you let them, why don't y'all come forward?
and Mr. Shante Wells.
Yeah.
That beige suit was blending so well into the chair, I hardly saw him sitting there.
It's hard to miss a sharp-dressed guy. Very different.
Chantel,
The red tie stood out though.
I was gonna ask you to come first if the mayor had not recognized you. Let you know that you are very, very important to this community. So,
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mayor, Council, nothing's changed since we've been back here the last time. It's still two great deals for the city, savings all around. As I mentioned to you, it's north of $9 million, really, different calculations, but significant savings to the city for both of these over just a 5-year period. So everything's progressing. Assuming this passes tomorrow with you all, the next step will go to the LCDA, who's the issuer of these bonds, get the amendments to the documents. We're all working on our documents as we speak, getting ready for that, working with Capital One and working with Regions Bank, who've stepped up to the plate with these good rates. We'll go to the LCDA, they'll pass that, and then we will close the last week. I was discussing with the mayor, he He said he might need us all to come out to Las Vegas to get him to sign up, but said he might be out there, but we figured a time he could be back in town to get him signed up before the end of the month. The sooner we can get these done, the sooner the city will start realizing savings. So we're working to try to get this done before the required date, which is June 1 for the hotel, and then June 23 for the utility bonds, but we're going to try to get them done sooner. And so, and the lenders are working with us in that respect. So, but it's still a great deal for the city.
If you run into a little problem, I'm told that Councilman Sam Jenkins is an expert on bonds.
I thought you were going to say on Las Vegas.
Oh,
Sorry, that probably wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, I said before, Mr. Chairman, I said again, this was great work. I think everything came out, I mean, beyond my expectation for what we were going to be able to do with the time frame that we were working within. So, once again, congratulations to your team for a job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Guys, appreciate your work very much. And for full clarification, Mr. Shine, I won't be out there leveraging the city's finances trying to figure out how to balance the budget.
I appreciate that, because Oliver just hunched me and said, well, look, you think we're going to lose anything?
But now, yeah, I don't gamble with my own money, much less the city's.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were on your own refinancing project out there. Or defeasance, maybe defeasing some of those bonds.
We will be out there, however, trying to bring back some of the great retail projects that we got nibbles on last year that we'll be trying to get into the boat this year to bring back, just like Whole Foods.
We might have to send Ron out there with you, since he's chairman of our Economic Development Committee.
So the one thing I know about Mr. Webb is that he's an excellent economic developer, and would welcome him to come along if we get a chance to visit with some of those folks and tell them about Shreveport. And I know he in particular would love to tell them about what's happening in Southwest Shreveport, since I know the shift of some of the retail establishments out there, out to Uri Drive and some other parts, is a great concern.
Tired of paying that high rent on Uri.
Oliver, you heard that, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to go in the streets that are paved with gold on Uri there, but it's expensive.
All right, let's move on, Mr. Sibley.
Resolution 75 authorizes 490 South Haven Lane to connect to the water and sewer system of the city of Shreveport.
Mike, yeah.
No problem, sir.
All right, let's move on.
Number 76, suspend certain provisions of Chapter 10 relative to alcoholic beverages on May 17, 2014, relative to dispensing, sale, and/or consumption of alcoholic beverages at 436 Ashley Ridge for Zocalo's Restaurant, Crawfish Boil.
All right, I'll have to see if I can't get out there before they start serving alcohol.
Lots of luck.
And number 77, Mr. Chairman, suspend certain provisions of Chapter 10 relative to alcoholic beverages for June 7th, 2014, relative to dispensing, sale, and/or consumption of alcoholic beverages at 436 Ashley Ridge for Zocalo's Restaurant, 5K run for Sarah.
All right.
Number 78, declares the city's interest in certain adjudicated property as surplus.
Okay.
Number 79, authorizes the purchasing agent to dispose by public auction of surplus vehicles and items.
All right, no questions then, we will.
I just wondered if Michael Portman's leading the way in that 5K and run for Sarah.
I might could.
Hey.
Now that there's a carrot out there at the end.
Well, if there's a race, I'm in.
Okay.
There are no resolutions for introduction under Section B. Introduction of ordinances under Section C. These are ordinances not to be adopted prior to May 13, 2014. Number 41 is a zoning matter, C414. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Shreveport zoning ordinance by rezoning property located on the southwest side of West Wilderness Way between Landmark Drive and Skipton Drive, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R2 Suburban Multifamily Residence District to R2 PUD Suburban Multifamily Residence Plan Unit Development District, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Any questions? Not, please.
Ordinance 42 is zoning matter C 2014. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances, the City of Shreveport zoning ordinance by rezoning property located on the northwest corner of Shreveport Barksdale Highway, Service Road, and Knight Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from B2 Neighborhood Business District to B3 Community Business District.
Any questions? If not, please.
Section D is ordinances on second reading and final passage. Number 10 amends Chapter 74 of the Code of Ordinances relative to solid waste. This matter was previously postponed and has one amendment.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, our committee didn't meet today. Solid Waste Committee, that is, didn't meet today. We will probably be coming before the council on tomorrow with an amendment for the council to consider. But basically, we're going to be asking that we adopt the proposed amendments to the solid waste ordinance. And by doing so, we will only eliminate the discussion on fees. In other words, the other areas of the amendment concerning backdoor collection and collection with new residents, as well as some other areas that we've been discussing in the meeting. All those will go forward. With the fees, there were 3 different options that are under consideration on those fees that we want to discuss a little bit further. One of those options involved the sticker fee, the buck collection program, the sticker fee, anything from $2 to $20 depending on what the item may be that had to be collected. The second option was $2.50 per household, which would basically let crews go out and actually collect whatever is on the curb. But it will also provide some money to help fund equipment and maybe a litter program and some other things that we have been considering. Then there's a $1.50 option per household, which would basically allow the crews to go out and collect whatever solid waste is there, but you would not really have funds available to deal with things like equipment or litter programs or street sweeper, some of the things that we have been talking about. Those are the 3 options we want to discuss a little bit further. But what we wanted to do, tomorrow the committee is going to come forward. We're going to give a recommendation to go ahead and adopt the ordinance except for that section on the fees. We're also going to be looking at an effective date for July the 1st of 2014. This will allow a period of time for some public education, because there will be some changes that will be in place. Things that our citizens need to really know about, such as, your solid waste got to be containerized. You're going to have the 96-gallon container, maybe 2, that we will pick up. Anything outside of that is going to be considered bulk items. And then, so there's a series of items that people may need to get a little bit more well educated on about what you can put out there and how you can put it out there and what's going to be involved. I am delighted with the idea that we're going to be looking at excessive solid waste situations that come from things like evictions, because we get a lot of complaints about that. There's going to be an appointment process that will be involved in that we want our citizens to know about, calling the Department of Public Works ahead of time, letting them know about something like that so it can be better coordinated. And then there will be some enforcement issues we're going to talk about for those persons, for whatever reason it may be, who will not comply with what we are asking to be done. So we will elaborate on it a little bit more tomorrow. Ask council members to please go through and take a look at the amendments and the amendment to the amendments, because this is the direction we're going to ask the council to go in, and then we'll deal with the fee aspect of it a little bit later.
I want to make maybe a couple of statements on that. We're going to need to actually take a good look at this so we can do something about it. I'm hearing back from a lot of citizens, because the mayor said it was a little frustration. I don't know whether it's frustration or what it is, but our neighborhoods and our communities have begun to accumulate a lot of extra trash and junk that's being put out by our citizens, but that doesn't matter when it comes to them. We, Mike and I had a couple of guys approach us to form a TIF district in order to clean the neighborhoods up, and you know, it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't matter to me what your frustrations are, but that doesn't make any sense. Those are things that we're supposed to do as government, and Dale and I are not running for re-election. Some of you all are, and I would advise you that you don't need to give somebody some extra leverage on to beat up on you when you're running that. You know, you haven't done a good job in cleaning the city up. So I would think that we would take a good look at this and see what we can do, because I don't think it's just real dirty, but there are some things that do need to be picked up. And those of you that's going to be running for re-elections, especially Sam in your district, or in my district, Jeff in your district, those in your district, you don't need to give somebody some extra leverage in order to beat up on you. So I would hope that we would look at this and not wait too long before we pass something by which we could do a little cleaning up. We've had 2 or 3 people to come down and come before the council and voice their opinions, because it might not have voiced it very professionally, but I think we do need to take a look at this. Sam, your committee has done an excellent job on bringing some of this information together, but we just need to make sure that we go through it and, if I can use this expression, bag everything up. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Shine?
Yes, sir.
Could I offer, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna surprise you and maybe some other folks. I'm gonna agree with you.
Wait a minute, I don't think I heard that.
It's because we're not on camera today. It's a smaller audience, so we got no.
We got a camera right over there.
I don't think I heard that.
We got a camera right over there, and of course we're going out live over the internet, so it all counts in the digital world these days.
I don't think I heard that.
But the sentiment that you've expressed, Mr. Shine, is right on point, and I would also offer, because I certainly respect and understand the position that many of the members are in. But the one thing I want to remind you all of, and to make sure that the citizens are aware of, that one of the things that the previous council did probably about this time, within the context of their term, was to add $2.50 to our waste collection. But they did so, I think, under the opinion of the administration, as we said at that time, without a great deal of specificity as to what that would ultimately seek to accomplish. And one of the things that this council did, I think in its great wisdom, was to rescind that $2.50 additional charge until there was a basis upon which you could come back before them and offer some detailing of exactly what it is that would accomplish. And I think to this council's credit, you all have done just that with a considerable amount of effort and time and detail. You're in a position to be able to stand before the citizens of this city and be able to say this is not something that's being added, it's just simply something that we're putting back in place that was in place when we came back on board. At least that would be the preference from an administration standpoint, because of the level of things that we'd be able to accomplish, from street sweeping and the other pickups and what have you. So again, we appreciate the work, Councilman Sam Jenkins, that you all and the rest of the council have done, and we hope that we'll be in a position to see some movement going forward, because let's go ahead and get the cameras out and freeze the frame and say that this is one that Mr. Shine are in full agreement of at this point.
That should raise all of our antennas at that point.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Shine. Thank you, Councilmember.
All right, let's move on, Dale.
Ordinance 28 amends and reenacts Articles 9 and 10 of Chapter 42 of the Code of Ordinances relative to peddlers, solicitors, itinerant vendors, and charitable solicitations. There's one amendment.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we're going to bring this matter before the council for passage on tomorrow. We, of course, had to delay it a couple of times to take a look at it, just for the sake of keeping everybody current. What we're doing here is combining the prior two ordinances that dealt with donations, and there was a separate one for sales. What this amendment would do, or what this ordinance would do, will just combine the two because the activity is pretty much the same. It will retain any licensing and or permitting requirements that is needed for either one, either the solicitation or the sales. It does set forth some regulations for soliciting from occupants of motor vehicles. First of all solicitation would take place during the daylight hours. One of the areas we had to revisit, which the amendment is addressing, was solicitation cannot be conducted on certain roadways. That includes any of our expressways, parkways, and then we had to have major arterial streets. What this amendment does is actually go in and name what those major arterial streets are, so that there would be no mystery to where you can or cannot be. In addition to that, it would make enforcement a whole lot easier. The speed limit will be set at 35 miles per hour. There would be no standing in the roadway as it exists now. We find a lot of the persons who participate in the sales or solicitation of donations actually stand in the median or sometime on a yellow line, but there will be no standing in the roadway in order to collect a donation or a sale. You will be permitted to enter the roadway once the vehicles come to a lawful stop in order to consummate the sale or to collect the donation. We're encouraging people to please stay on the sidewalks or the right-of-ways. We're not certainly encouraging anyone to go into the flow of traffic with any of these activities. There could be no construction of any kind of tables or chairs or anything of that nature on the sidewalk in the right-of-way, definitely not in the median. So we're certainly not encouraging anything like that. One of the concerns, of course, were children that were participating in these type of activities. We're going to set an age limit of 18. No one below the age of 18 can participate in these activities. What we're wanting to do is bring a balance between the public safety concerns and the many organizations such as sickle cell anemia and those who work for other groups, to give them an opportunity to be able to carry forth their mission and collect funds that help those causes, as well as help many of the families here in our city. I had a good friend of mine, George Tyler, was a fine man, and he lived his whole life with sickle cell anemia. He had that version of the disease that send you into some very critical crises. And if you've never seen anyone go through that, I don't think you want to see that. This is a disease that will put you in the hospital not just for days, but weeks and months at a time. George passed on some years ago, but one thing I do know is that he was very encouraged by the organization who checked on him, helped him with many of the personal things that he needed to do, and it was a resource for him. So I'm seeing a lot of these organizations working to help our citizens in many ways. So I am hoping and asking for your support on this tomorrow. I think we've done everything we could to try to address the public safety concerns. I do understand those public safety concerns. I do understand that we need to have some balance with it. But I think if you take a good look at what's been proposed and the amendments, a lot of your heavily traveled roadways, this activity would be prohibited there. These are mostly going to be roadways with a low volume of traffic, an intersection with a low volume of traffic that will go through it. And I think we've done everything we could to bring some balance there. So please take a look at this, and I'll be asking you for your support on this tomorrow on the amendment, as well as the ordinance. I do think it will help a lot of people in our community if these organizations can continue to have some presence in our community. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it.
Mr. Jenkins, I just want to say a word or two. Is the chief in?
Shaw?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but bring him up, please. You know, and I want to help these organizations, and I think maybe we have a civic responsibility to do that, but I want to also make sure that our citizens are safe. We can be helping somebody and then put somebody else in a wheelchair. Bye. Chief,
sir.
have you all had a chance to discuss this very closely with Councilman Sam Jenkins, the ordinance on street vendors and that kind of stuff?
I saw the amendment earlier. I hadn't really had a chance to read through it very closely.
Well, would you and the chief take a look at it? And
Yes, sir.
tomorrow, I'm going to ask you all to come forward and give us what your thoughts are. You know, I like what he got, but yet and still, if I err, I want to err on the side of public safety. I don't want to be helping somebody, and in the process of he was talking about the guy who's sickle cell. I don't want to be helping the sickle cell group, and then I put somebody else in the hospital with a broken spine, brain injury, broken legs. And the mayor can tell you how bad it is when you got some messed up knees. And he wasn't hit by a car. So you know, if you're out there, Mr. Mayor, and you get hit by a car, you know what it's going to be. So I think Sam has done an excellent job, but you know, I don't want to be helping somebody else and hurt somebody else, if you understand what I'm saying. So
I understand.
I wish you all would take a professional look at it and come back and tell us what you think about it.
We'll be ready.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And just, Chief, and just to listen to this, you don't need, just for more of a listening, just so that I understand, it lists these streets. So that means any intersection on those streets in which that street is. So if it says Uri and Kings would not be allowed, right?
But now, if the,
And this is what I'm not so
okay,
sure I
well,
understand.
if it says Uri, let's say if Kings is not listed as one of the major roadways,
Uh-huh.
and it's below 35 miles per hour, you can work Kings, you just can't go into Uri.
Right, but does that
It's
mean you
35
can work
miles.
the Uri-Kings intersection?
Kings is 35 miles there, so I don't believe it would allow somebody to work that intersection, as I read it.
Well, I mean-
If it's 35 miles per hour or below, you can work that roadway. You just can't work, you can't work.
So
Uri.
Kings is still available, that particular intersection?
You can work Kings if it's 35 miles and below.
Okay, so what I'm asking, and this is what I'm specifically asking, okay, and I misunderstood this, and this is a little problem I got. So, the intersection of Uri and Kings, as this thing reads right now, since it says Uri, they can be on the Kings side of the intersection and be legal?
It can't be in
Unless you want to cover the whole intersection, unless you're just going to say that entire intersection is we were talking streets. Now, unless you're going to say that entire intersection.
Well, because to me, I think that, well, first of all, I'm not on the police department, but I think there could be a lot of confusion for the police in this particular issue, first of all. And I think it opens itself up for maybe a few problems. So I will just say what I thought it was until this very moment, which was brought up. Certainly more in favor of all intersections of those streets being, I'll call them off limits or whatever.
Now, I want to make sure that you would only be talking about those connecting intersections, not anywhere else on Kings though, right?
No. If it's Kings in line, which neither Kings nor line is on this list,
Right. Okay.
that's good to go.
Okay.
But at any intersection on these prohibited streets, we create so much of a gray area if we don't say every intersection that, you know, somebody can run out because somebody wants to make a donation or whatever. I just think
That's
we have
one-
issues.
I don't have a problem with that.
And that's one of the things we asked during a public safety meeting, because that's been
Because that's why
confusing
I
in the
want-
past to our folks.
I won't fight that.
And that's why, the reason I asked you to stay up here, because I know we talked about that specific question.
Yes, sir. It's very confusing, and we know people going the other way may want to stop and make a donation. That creates all kind of problems.
Okay, so that's helping me out, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chief, that's what I'm saying. Please take a look
We
at
just
it.
need to add some language
And
to this
tomorrow,
amendment that says all
You know, we can go the whole 9 yards, and you all can make it clear, because we really don't want to leave any gray areas. Because that makes it hard to enforce.
We'll be prepared.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
You don't say any.
Mr. Sibley?
Yes, sir.
All right,
35.
with you.
Ordinance 35 authorizes the mayor to execute all necessary instruments to effect the exchange of certain immovable property owned by the city of Shreveport for certain immovable property owned by Louisiana CVS Pharmacy LLC. Mr. Chairman, tomorrow we'll ask that this matter be postponed for some additional notice and advertising requirements.
Okay, Councilman Carvin, could we get you to
And I did speak to
Make
Mr.
the
Corbin
motion.
about it. and
he'll make the motion to postpone? Thank you.
That must be, is that in?
Ordinance 36 amends and reenacts Article 4, Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances relative to fireworks and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Oliver Jenkins, will you move to postpone this one tomorrow?
Certainly.
Okay.
Ordinance 37 amends and reenacts Chapter 10 of the Code of Ordinances relative to alcoholic beverages. There is one amendment,
Okay.
and this is regarding the temporary alcoholic beverage permits, I believe, for out-of-state vendors.
All right.
Ordinance 38 amends the 2014 capital improvements budget. This is regarding the Central Art Station.
Okay.
Ordinance 39 is annexation tag number 13-02. It enlarges the limits and boundaries of the city of Shreveport, a 14.78 acre tract of land located east of Norris Ferry Road and south of Hidden Trace subdivision, located in section 26, township 16, range 13 west, Caddo Parish, Louisiana. There is a public hearing to be held on tomorrow.
And you will have someone.
That's correct,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
sir.
We will have a presentation from the administration.
Okay.
Also on ordinance 40, annexation tag number 14-01. It enlarges the limits and boundaries of the city of Shreveport, a 21.235 acre tract of land located north of Southern Loop and west of Norris Ferry Road, located in sections 19 and 20, township 16, range 13 west, Caddo Parish, Louisiana. This public hearing will also be on tomorrow, and we will have a presentation for that one also.
That's in Mike's district.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
You all are not giving him too many extra voters, are you? Okay.
Nobody there yet.
Oh, okay.
That is all the scheduled legislation, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Thompson,
Yes, sir.
is it anything, I mean, anything
There is a red light
that has been tabled that you think we might need to pull off?
Mr. Shine, I am not aware of anything that's been tabled that needs to be pulled.
Okay. All right, any council member see anything on the table that they would like to pull off? If not, Ms. Farnell, we probably stand this appeal. Appreciate you coming back.
Thank you, Mr. Shine. We have 4 cases for this afternoon. Our first case is the demolition at 4547 Lyra Street.
Mr. Sam Jenkins, I believe.
Sam Jenkins, yes, sir.
The Honorable Samuel Jenkins, sorry.
And the owner has removed the frame from the metal frame that was on the property. We've also
Is the
had-
owner here?
Sir?
Is the owner here?
No, sir.
Metal frame?
He is not.
Okay.
But he does have complete compliance. Now, there was, as you can see, a few things that was on the property. We took this picture at 8:01. I did have the inspector to go back out and ask him to remove the rest of those things there, so that is gone. And I apologize for not having a current picture on the removal of that, but the frame has been removed, so he is in complete compliance.
What you want to do, close the file? Is that what we're doing? You wanting to close the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so move to close.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Samuel Jenkins, second by Councilman Oliver Jenkins. In order that the file would be closed, all in favor vote yes, opposed no, with a 7-0 vote.
Not coming up.
Wait a minute. B?
Do we need a hand vote, too?
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Dale, you see, B done put me on the spot. I'm getting ready to say with a 7-0 vote, it's been closed out and nobody's able to vote. Okay. Love you, B. All right. That's with a 7-0 vote. The file's been closed.
The next one is demolition at 2514 Murray Street. This is in your area, Mr. Shine? No. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Well, let me see.
And, no, this is in Mr.
Is
Jenkins.
she
This is
here?
in Mr. Sam Jenkins' area, I'm sorry.
Okay.
This
she
is
here?
2514 Murray Street. I apologize.
That's okay.
Ms.
Is the owner
Rowland?
here?
Ms. Rowland? I don't think she's here, sir.
Okay.
She's not here. This was up for demolition. She was given 90 days by the council, January the 27th. The house still is there. And we would ask that you would uphold that decision of the Property Standards Board and proceed with demolition.
Sam, what's your pleasure?
So move to uphold.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Sam Jenkins, second by Councilman Oliver Jenkins, that the decision would be upheld. All in favor vote yes, opposed is no. Passes with the 7-0 vote. Okay, miss.
The next case is inoperable vehicles located at 7021 Penny Street. This is in Councilman Jenkins' area. The owner of these properties is Carol James Smith.
Is the owner here? Going once, is the owner here? Going twice? Gone.
This is a case of 20, we cited 20 inoperable vehicles at this location on January the 22nd, 2014. All of them have been removed except 11. And we would ask that you would order that these cars be removed.
Sam, who is that you got in your district with all that junk?
I do not know the man.
Well, it looks like I noticed on the
Okay.
side of one of these is an advertisement for a record service. So it looks like maybe he was a record that went out of business, maybe.
Once upon a time.
Well, the person who applied for this is the owner of a towing company, but he is not the owner of the property.
Roland Page, is that the owner? He's got Chase Cole, which is in my district. So he's the owner
Carol
of the property
James
at West
Smith.
83rd?
Yeah, Carol James Smith is the owner of the property.
Where does Roland Page come into play?
That's the next case.
Roland Page is for 505 West 83rd.
Oh, okay.
We're looking at 7021 Penny Street.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So what relief are we seeking here now? What do we want to do?
Removal. We want to proceed with removal of these vehicles.
All right, so move.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Oliver Jenkins. I'm sorry, Sam Jenkins, and second by
Why do you
Oliver
even need a
Jenkins.
vote to remove them?
Well, I mean, my question, they're in violation already.
Yes, they are in violation. Someone filed an appeal. And because our decision was to remove them.
I got you.
So we want our
yeah.
decision that we made upheld.
Okay.
which is the removal of those vehicles.
Dorothy,
Your decision has been upheld by a 7-0 vote.
Dorothy, we looked at some property for this gentleman and I think rezoned it to expand his wrecking yard business. Do you know if this is that property that we talked about at that time? Is this adjacent to Greenwood Road, or I'm not sure where Penny Street is?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'd have to find out.
all right. I was just curious.
Yeah, but he, like I said, they've been removing some, but they're not all complete, so. We're getting a lot of complaints regarding these cars there.
Understand.
And as you can see, they're all inoperable.
It is.
Some of it appears to have been there a long time.
Yes, sir. They're embedded in the ground.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
This one is also.
Is the property owner here for this? 504 West 83rd Street.
Mr. Page, I think so. But this property here, Councilman Webb area.
No, it's West 83rd. Is not
No, this
mine.
is Councilman Shine. Councilman Shine, I apologize.
The owner is in my district, but the property is in Shine's district.
There has been complete compliance on this, so we would ask that this case be closed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Councilman Everson. All in favor vote yes, opposed is no. We close on a 7-0 vote.
Those are the cases that I have.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, let's see, what do we have next?
We have an ABO appeal, Mr. Shine.
We have an ABO appeal. All right, Corporal. We're so glad to have you this afternoon.
Thank you, glad to be here. This is under tab 1 of your folders. It's an ABO card appeal from Mr. Cabo.
Is he here? Oh, that's
he's
it.
right
That's
here.
the gentleman coming now. All right.
He was denied under, you don't see this very often, but he was denied for a false statement on his application. Basically what happened is he had 3 domestic abuse charges where he pled guilty that he didn't disclose on his application. And those, or he pled guilty on 8/12/2013, 3/23/2013, and 10/18/2012. Also put the other one, he's got pretty much a history of domestic abuse. One thing we have to determine is good character and reputation. And as far as the police department's concerned, he doesn't meet the qualifications under that.
Before we get into this, give me your name again.
Abubakar Kaba.
Okay, I just want to tell you, you look like a bodybuilder, pretty good running back for some football team, and I know you know as well as I do that you're too big and you don't have any business beating up on any women. Do you agree with that? Or you think maybe you should?
I think I should, because I had a proof here, medical reports here saying that my wife, she has a schizophrenic. She been in Broadwood Hospital. That's what I was going through, because I love my wife. I didn't want to leave her when I found out she was sick. So that's why I went through the domestic abuse. I'm not really violent, because I never had a problem on the street with anybody else. This is the only one I had. And I'm living in the United States. I'm paying the taxes. I'm doing it all. So I don't see the reason I can't have my ABO call back. I'm not doing nothing wrong. Just I need to work.
We understand that, but you got to also understand now, you can't.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't continue to have domestic violence. You know, just because you need to work. You know, I would hope that you would understand that your wife your daughter or your son or whoever would have the right not for you to be violent with them.
No, she's sick. She just be sick.
I understand, but that's what you got doctors for.
Yeah, we already fixed the story. It's finished long time. Now she taking medication. I have a paper here to prove all that. So.
Any council members have any?
Is this all the same person, or were these different individuals? Same person?
Yes.
Damn.
Which is his wife, right? And so,
You
she
said
attacked him on 3 different occasions?
No, he attacked her.
Oh.
Well, it looks to me like 5 different cases, but
Yeah,
it's-
5.
So she didn't attack you, you attacked her on 5
No,
different
no,
occasions?
she be trying to harm herself sometimes. I be trying to stop her, and sometimes she be trying to jump on me. So, you know, she was a medication, but she stopped taking it. So the result, you know, I went for these charges, but already wasn't like that. I already charged that I have to take care of my baby. So, I don't know. If I don't have work, so I don't know how I'm going to pay tax. I don't know how I'm going to be able to take care of my son and my family. So it's like, I don't understand.
Well, let me say this. Do you understand that if we give you your ABO card, they come out and arrest you again for domestic violence, you're going to lose it? And do you understand that you're the one that's making that decision? Not to work? We don't want to keep
I
you
just want a
working.
second chance. I know I ain't going to have it. Again, I know I'm going to take care of that. I ain't going to have no domestic abuse charges yet.
Slow it down a little bit. I can't hardly understand.
I said, I know I can take care of
I
that.
got older and I'm hard of hearing, so I can't. You need to slow it down a little bit so I can understand what you're saying.
I know that I'm not going to have a domestic abuse charge again because I know how to handle the situation better. You know, so I think
That's
so,
more
you
like
know.
it. Now
I just
you-
need a second chance, so I mean, to be able to have my job back.
That's more like it. Where do you work at?
At the gas station, Chevron.
Chevron gas station. Let me say this. My position, and it's only one now, you know, I'm for giving you your ABO card. Mr. Thompson, how can we tie this in, and Corporal Collins, how can we tie this in? Because I want to have
Site
it.
specific, I mean,
Yeah.
does Chevron have Chevron written any letters or anything in its support?
No.
or-
We haven't received anything from the business at all. This is the first time I had a chance to talk to him about it. Just for clarification, in all the reports, I have all the reports in front of me. None of them stated there was any kind of offense by the wife. There was always a situation where it was she being battered one way or another by him. So as far as any kind of self-defense or anything like that, that's not stated in any kind of report, just to clarify it.
Where do you live?
Live in Shreveport.
I mean, we figured you lived in Shreveport, but
On
you know,
Street, Karen Street.
What street?
Karen Street, Karen.
Karen.
Karen?
What?
Karen, I don't know who's
It's
district.
by the,
Says 7-Eleven.
down 7th Street.
Hollywood.
By Juela. And before you get to Juela, come from
Okay, I think I know what it is.
7th Street.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
That's you.
that's my district.
Are you married?
But
Are you
Sam,
married to this lady that lives with you?
No, we're no longer together.
No children?
No. I got a child, you know, I'm taking care of.
Said a son.
Sam, I'm gonna give this to you. Since you always,
I'm gonna follow your
Since
lead.
you always wanna help me in my district.
No, I'm gonna follow your lead on this one, Mr. Chairman.
I've learned my lesson of staying out of other people's districts.
I will follow your lead, Mr.
I'm gonna
Chairman.
give this to you, Sam.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
When we started off our meeting talking about domestic violence in Shreveport and the problems that we have. And I, in good conscience, there's no way that I can override this. My words to you would be, if you think this is all false and you get it cleared up and come back to us, we can take another look at it. But right now, all these charges look authentic. If you have a way to rebut those and you can get that changed in the records, then go back and reapply and come back. But I cannot support giving you this ABO card.
I just need a second chance, so I'm not going to go through that because I'm no longer living with her, so I just need my job so I can be able to take care of my child, my taxes.
You need to slow down. I know you're a foreigner, but you need to slow down with your speech. And Mr. Mayor, I know I'm always telling you that this is a council meeting, but I'm gonna turn my part over to you today.
Not for love or money, Mr. Shine.
Okay. Dale, you see that, huh? You know.
You let me drive now.
I'm getting ready to turn. I want to turn my authority over to him today. He was
Motion on the
saying,
floor,
no.
Mr. Chairman?
Huh?
Is there a motion on the floor?
No, there's no motion on the floor at this time.
I'll make
Any
a
other-
motion, I'll make a motion then to oppose the denial.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Ron Webb to uphold, and second by Councilman Mike Carvin, that we would deny him his ABO card. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed is no. Okay, with a 7-0 vote, he has been denied his ABO card. Officer Collins, would you explain to him what happened and what he needs to do in order to come back before the council and get his ABO card?
Have him follow me so I can explain it. I'll talk to him.
Okay, if you can.
This to me
makes some other ones make a lot of sense. This one, kind of danger.
I got attitude.
You know what I'll say is something that's kind of just say this, that in this case, and we have character as an issue in there, though I'll be frank, this is one case where, yes, it's domestic abuse against one person. I'm not 100% sure how I tie that into him selling beer at a gas convenience store. That's a little bit, and I understand how the ordinance is built because you have character. So it's I just say that it's a difficult one to just stick by a standard policy, and that there needs to be some latitude. I'm not saying we made the wrong decision here. I'm just saying this one, clearly if somebody has sold drugs, there's a problem with being in a position where alcohol and drugs are being sold. Now that's, I can see. I don't know where this fits in terms of that. I understand character reference is important.
Let me tell you, Mr. Sibley, where I think it fits. First of all, I think it's showing that we condone domestic violence.
Not tolerated.
Yes. Second of all, a guy that shows an overt act of violence, we putting him back in the public where possibility that he might show it again. You know, I want him to be able to work. Maybe if this was a construction job or something like that, it might be. But domestic violence has gotten to be so prevalent in our society because, man, I think you gave a nice sermonette. And I always say that one day you're gonna start preaching. Now, when that is, I don't know. I'm gonna predict that. I'm gonna predict that, and I need to tell your brother so he can start giving you a few books on preaching. But you know, domestic violence is just too. And I understand what Olive is saying, but domestic violence is just too prevalent nowadays, and it's something that I just don't think that this council, you know, ought to be putting a stamp of approval on. And I think if we vote, I mean, I can tell by his attitude.
He's not gonna change.
No, he's not gonna change.
You don't have to.
He's not gonna change until some woman change him. What do they have, 38, 45, 22? You know, and I'm not advocating that, but, you know, I mean, that's the way I see it. We just can't vote. And I understand that you know, you're tying it in, but you can't give your approval for domestic violence. I got a mama and 3 sisters and a couple of daughters, Jackie, and Lord knows I don't want nobody beating up on them. You know, if they're sick and hey, take them to the doctor. That's what the doctor's for. You don't, if you're sick, you don't beat health back in them. You know, and especially if it's to the point where they got to call a police officer. You know. Now, you know, I understand sometimes how Sam handles his. You know, he'll grab, but I'll take that back.
Whoa!
I'll take that back.
Wait just a minute, Mr. Chairman.
I'll take that back, Mr. Jenkins.
I think in this case, this gentleman just had too many. Had it been one,
that's
you
just too many
almost could
times.
kind of take a look at it, but that was too many different incidents.
Yes.
Back to back to back to back.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's just, and his rationale is, she's sick, and if she does it again, he's gonna have to do it again. So that's almost, you know, I hated to do it, but that was my vote. And Ron, I appreciate you making the motion. Okay, Ron, so let's move on. All right.
Mr. Shine?
Yes, sir.
I think you just explained why I can't go to the R. Kelly concert.
Wait a minute now, wait.
Yeah, I think you lost me and Joe on that.
Wait a minute, yeah.
Me. So
It's abuse either way you look at it.
That's right, yeah.
It's abuse. Can't support it.
All right. All right. Okay, let's move on, please.
Who's got some history?
Probably. Okay. We got anything left, Jeff?
We are, let's see what we got.
Say that again real quick. I'm in the middle of a meeting. Take camera real quick. Bye-bye.
We sent it around a modified amendment on the sales and donations, so hopefully you'll take a look at it and see it. I think we addressed what appeared to be an additional concern. If you get a chance, please take a look at it.
All right, I think we are down to reports from officers, boards, and committees. I'm gonna turn this one over to you to ask Chairman. I mean, ask the clerk for his report. Since the two of y'all have such a good relationship.
I'm just telling him when he took a free week off without telling us about it, he must have been working on a clerk's report.
Wow! Arthur.
So much free time on his hands, we must have something good coming.
Yeah, that comes from your friend.
You know it. All in good jest.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any reports from officer boards and committees? Okay, well, I'm gonna skip Mr. Thompson again then. If there's nothing else, I wanna If there's nothing else, I want to express the...
Mr. Muhammad.
I'm sorry. Marvin T. Muhammad. I'm sorry. Why not?
Only my mother used to call me by that when I was in the world of trouble.
Oh, Marvin. Okay.
When I was doing unsafe acts.
Okay.
Marvin Muhammad, 456 Fuller Street. And I want to be very, very, very brief. I got 3 points. The first point is safety. My second point is safety. And my third point is safety and compliance. And we just want to say that to the council that we are in full agreement with Oliver Jenkins in that we want to be able to eliminate any slight possibility that the state law that forbids solicitation or donations on state highways, that it won't even be even remotely possible that could be hindered, trespassed against. So we want to make that very, very, very clear. And as far as safety, we want to say that, and we thank again councilman and council. So Chairman Shine, we feel like we're in a very advantageous position because not only do we have a councilman, but we have a council as well. And I know the city attorney's here as well, but we feel very comfortable that we are in good hands. And I pray that that once the full council looks at what has been offered and rendered, that they can see that we really have strived to make all compromises first to the city of Shreveport, particularly those officials who have some concerns. But at the same time, we believe that if, in the words of Mayor Glover, who says that Shreveport is on the verge of becoming the next great city of the South. And we believe that, but we believe that that would occur if certain citizens are not excluded, they are in fact included. So we really want to embrace, want the council to embrace the suspect of giving citizens the opportunity to pool their pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters together to move their communities forward, to move their agendas forward, especially when the neighborhood investment program, that budget is steadily shrinking. And of course, we have budget constraints across the board. Our council and councilman, although he listed a long list of things that have been introduced, we do want to also remind the council that we will have the orange reflective vest on that you can see from a mile away. We also will be signing a hold harm agreement, which releases the city of any liability. I mean, so across the board, again, safety is on our mind, but at the same time, we do believe that sickle cell, of course, the Nation of Islam will what we do. We also believe that sororities and the fraternities that support the United Negro College Fund, when even my alma mater, Grambling State University, I believe I received a letter from the president.
That's a vote against you.
I'm a Jaguar too. I'm a Jaguar too, but
I should warn you ahead. Don't go down.
I'm a Jaguar too
you
now.
You just got my vote. Yeah. Graham the man. You just got
you're gaining every time you go there.
Yeah, you just got my vote.
You know, I started here. I grew up in the MLK area, so I started at Southern on the Cooper Road, and someone told me it'd be very wise to get my associate from there first, before I transfer to Grambling State University.
There you go.
You know, the home of the legendary coach Eddie Robinson.
Everybody is somebody.
Yeah, where everybody is somebody, and where everybody actually comes back into the community and actually be a part. So, but we do know that the HBCUs across the nation, even Grambling State, they budget probably fails 60-65%.
That's right.
And the United Negro College Fund collects a lot of money on Shreveport streets to help deserving students come back and be able to contribute to society. So once again, I want to thank the council. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, you know, we all are not fortunate enough, like other communities, to have a unabashed amount of just, you know, purse strings to our events. So once again, I want to thank the council.
Marvin,
anybody, any questions? Because
we
really want to make this a real quick process tomorrow. We really don't want to turn this into a Million Man March here in Shreveport. But you know,
Marvin, before you go, I just want to commend you for. I can tell that you've had some extensive courses in psychology. I like the way you have pulled this together. I like the way you pull the mayor in on this, because you understand that he's the most influential person that's sitting up here. And I think you did an excellent job of pulling him in. I think you did an excellent job of pulling Southern Jaguar in, because you know how Sam feels about Southern, and you know how Rose feel about Grambling. So Marvin, I just want to commend you for doing an excellent job of pulling all this together. Now, if we've ever had anybody who has come before the council and who was very persuasive, Marvin, it's been you. So I'd like to salute you and take my hat off to you.
I appreciate the salute and your hat, but what I really prefer is your vote tomorrow.
I got
to be
psychology Marvin has. Anybody else want to make a comment to Marvin before we adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna help him out even more.
Huh?
I'm gonna help him out even more.
How you gonna do that?
He's gonna need 5 votes to override my veto, so y'all need to get
wait a minute.
Wow. But I have a secret weapon with the mayor.
You got to get him at least 5 votes.
Yeah. Well, you know you're doing right. You're killing the right thing up front.
You got to get him at least 5.
Yeah, well, you're right. Marvin, Sam, you heard that, huh?
Oh, yes, I'm listening very carefully.
We very confident. We very confident.
5 votes.
We very confident that the vast majority veto-proof council will vote in our favor tomorrow.
Didn't I tell you was smart?
We very wise.
Yeah. I told you it was smart. Marvin, thank you. If there's no other comments, this meeting is adjourned. I appreciate you all coming down. Jay.